Welcome back, guys, to Tales of Arise, where we've moved a little bit back from where we were to do my homework, which I actually did this time, in the fact that I've got myself 2 levels higher on every character, which was a hell of a grind because there's not a lot of monsters in that cave anymore. There's not a lot of knights. It's just a few Zoogles and 1 pack of knights now. They've pretty much gone to nothing, which is kind of a shame because I wanted to like grind off them and get like the chain bonuses going so I could get good money, but I haven't been able to generate money. And that said, I haven't been able to go back and get fish to get money, etc. because as soon as I hit the planet side, skits appear. So I wanted to avoid them like the plague, but supposedly there is one missed skit we have at this point in time. I have retreated to here, however, with all this extra level with the extra SP to, of course, rest and eat some food because no food buff currently lives with us. So I could make some shortcake here, elemental attack up large, and make Rinwell the strongest she's ever been. I'll reduce the effect by 20%.
This came out so good.
No!
I almost hate having to eat it.
I shouldn't have had to do it. So up larger, but elemental attack up is still L. There was no skip. Probably because I already saw it and I couldn't remember. Right, Rinwell is caked up and ready to go. Hopefully that will be fine as we move forward. But however, with that extra grinding for the 2 levels, I have got enough to get Incineration Wave now as a skill. So that is unlocked. I do wonder like what I want to actually go for the most in terms of stat ups. I mean, it's 50 there. Flaming Edge charge faster. I do wonder what would be better to get at this point. Probably penetration. You had to say anything. Probably penetration. Use your perfect evading and guarding. Let's go over there. After getting that extra skill, we can get increased special ammo for Shion. We'll get last shot soon for a penetration plus 50. We can get easier perfect evading guarding. There's an attack plus 50 waiting here if I can get even more. Increased boost gauge from enemy down sounds pretty good as the next one. Increased boost strike damage from Rinwell from all the extra SP gets penetration plus 50. So hopefully she can stumble a fair few enemies. Got Crossblade over here for a new ability on top of that. And I could just finish this off to get... I mean, Strength and Magic Charge seems pretty good. I could just go here and try for another penetration big boost. Faster AG recovery for Lore gets attack plus 30. Where else does he want to go next? Defense plus 10 doesn't seem like a great one. I mean, defense plus 50 is a much better one for me to go for in certain respects, considering who it is. Increase BG at battle start maybe is his next one. Mid-air jump for Dohalim. Unlocks an attack plus 20. So what do I want to go for yet? Penetration 40 over here is improved healing arts. Doesn't seem that bad for you. Penetration plus 30 for the overall get. I want penetration plus, then going here seems to be best next. So yeah, with a little bit of extra grinding, a little extra levels to bring ourselves up a bit more to the level of our opposition, we get some new skills. So that's pretty nice. So let's fight through back to where we were. Only a few packs in our path. It's nothing big, nothing monstrous. But I do realize as the sound level drops a little bit that I've got the wrong sound profile for the game currently as we head into battles.
Out of my way! Here I come! Shield!
This is my warm-up a little bit, you could say.
Time to shine! Here I come!
Oh, I'd rather Dohalim get his stuff ready at the moment. Because they're just dodging past me.
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
In here.
Blew away! Ready to fly! Eternal devastation!
Getting a bit of that dodging power off of him. I think pretty handy.
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished.
To finish the battle. Consider this my warm-up before whatever we are about to face.
Everybody okay?
We're all right, Alphen.
In fact, I think I can straight up dodge this guy. Big lumbering fool. But there's only 4 packs of monsters in now, so getting those extra 2 levels was a little bit of a slog. Especially considering the big experience-giving packs in here are this pack to my left and the pack to the right down there.
Go no further.
Now you'll learn!
Dreams.
Damn it! Go ahead! Igneous!
I need Dohalim again here.
I never miss. They really don't give up, do they?
Engaging! Blew away!
Let's just use my high damage attack.
Raining slash!
Do us handle. Chain between heaven and earth.
Severing wind! Void blast!
Wailing banshee of lightning.
No, you stop me doing the thing.
Mega pistol! Sonic thrust! Coming through!
Let's just do a normal one.
Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Here, let me help.
No escape! Dazzle!
Now!
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone! Take far beyond the
You're
darkest
mine!
sky!
I was hoping I'd get the kill them, move over to them thing. But it seems that was not to be true at that point in time.
Everyone still in one piece?
Yep. I barely worked up a sweat.
Barely worked up a sweat. We're leaving great gels behind now because I've actually managed to max out 15 off of those guys. We're back to where we were. Without too much of an issue. Rested, refreshed. I did fancy going back down to Dahna and checking out camps, etc. But I thought that might be a little too disruptive at this point in time, you know what I mean? Seeming we just walked up to a bit that was like, ooh, serious business is about to take place. So let's step forward. And serious business.
Soon, we might very well learn the truth behind Shion's thorns, as well as my own past. I have to be ready to face anything. But whatever happens,
The only way is forward. Let's go.
I'm determined to save Shion and Dahna. Nothing I learn can change that.
That was a sentence, wasn't it? That was a sentence. Are you sure? Not a dungeon? No Zoogles. First of all, I want to head left before I head forward.
Hold up, you guys.
What is it?
I want to look through that room over there. I'm curious what we'll find.
That's the room you visited in your past, right? Sure. We can check it out. This looks like some kind of research facility.
A laboratory secreted away in the Forbidden Zone. Why am I past being surprised at this point?
Looks pretty deserted.
Let's check it out. It might give us a new lead.
What do you want me to check out specifically? The control console by the look of things. Oh, was there an R1 then?
I think I can make this work.
Well, can you make head or tail of it?
These are experiment records by the looks of it. Reams of them, dating back hundreds of years. Let's see. A composite being capable of controlling Dahnan astral energy so as to convert its molecular and elemental makeup. The creation of a governing central figure taking the form of a Dahnan. Codename Sovereign.
Sovereign.
Wait, there's more. Research into utilizing force field crystals for the purpose of stable astral energy containment. That must be the Master Course. With all this raw data, there's bound to be records here somewhere about the Maiden and the Lords, too.
About the Lords? Why would they be on there?
Think about it. The Lord's crests are clearly of a piece with those of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. Not to mention the fact that the contenders to the crown are selected from otherwise regular Renan citizens. In other words, it may be that all Renans are unwittingly being made subject to some kind of grand scheme.
What about the Sovereign? Does it say anything else?
Where do I start? All I've read so far is the headlines. There's so much here. To sift through all of it would require specialized... Wait.
What is it? Did you find something?
It's a list of names, with the title, Test Subjects, Sovereign. It's your call.
Read it.
There must be dozens of test subjects listed here. Hundreds even. All of them failures. Wait, I think I've found one that was successful. Test subject number 1273. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Alphen.
They re-engineered me. Right here in this lab.
Alphen.
It's fine, really. What about the others? Was I the only one?
Test subject number 10105. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Volron.
Volron? But that means...
He's only sovereign because someone made him that way too.
He's the last one. In 3 centuries worth of records, you and Volron are the only 2 subjects on whom the experiment was a success.
But what about the winners of the crown contests? Does this mean that none of them were ever crowned sovereign after all?
Upon victory, the sovereign shall return to Rena and rule over Rena and Lenegis combined. When a new sovereign is decided, the outgoing monarch shall relinquish their post and live out the rest of their days on Rena. So we were told. But according to these records, there have only ever been 2 sovereigns, neither of whom had anything to do with the crown contest. It's all lies, including the part about the sovereign residing in Rena. The crown contest was never about deciding a new ruler. It must always have been devised for some other purpose.
But even supposing that's true, someone must have been in charge for the past 3 centuries, right? If it wasn't the sovereign, then who was it?
Crown contests have been held this whole time, in spite of the fact that there was already a sovereign. Me. Meaning that for the past 300 years, someone out there has to have been maintaining that lie. The same person I'm willing to bet is behind all this.
The Red Woman?
It's possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean she's the mastermind behind this scheme. She could be working for someone else. Someone back on the Renan homeworld.
Either way, it's fair to say she's definitely involved somehow.
What about the data records? Is there no other information that could help us?
Not that I can see. Just file upon file of experiment results. There's nothing here about who's behind all this, or what their endgame is, unfortunately. I've barely managed to scratch the surface, mind you. You won't be able to read through it all, but you're welcome to take a look through what you can, while we're here.
I'll do that.
So this is where Alphen became the Sovereign, and Volron as well. The significance of this location would suggest...
Hey, it looks like the terminals in here turned on too.
We should look through them. They might contain valuable information.
I do wonder if Dohalim was at all interested in what becomes of the Lords after the crown contest. I'd be very interested in that if I were him.
Only 2 sovereigns in over 300 years. So why has the experiment only succeeded twice in all this time? And if that's the case, why keep on doing it? Was there really no other way? Or could there be some other reason?
Dohalim.
Forgive me.
Alphen.
I'm fine. I'm just a little shaken, that's all. I knew what I was already, so it's not like it's a surprise or anything. But it's strange. I've got all this rage inside of me, but I don't even know who it's for. I'm scared that I'll put a face to it, just to have someone to blame.
If that were to happen, then No. Then we'd help you fight it, before you ever got that far. Wouldn't we, everyone?
Yeah, we wouldn't just sit by and watch you spiral out of control.
That's right. No good can come from being consumed by hatred.
If you ever start to lose your way, you can count on us to guide you back. To remind you where home is.
And I would be happy to lend an attentive ear, should you ever have need.
Thank you, everyone. I think I'll be okay now.
I was wondering what the R1 that might have been missed was, but I'm assuming it's this, the Forbidden Zone.
For the people of Lenegis, the Forbidden Zone is the stuff of dreams. Yet here I am, standing within its hallowed halls.
It's off limits even for lords, then? Talk about an exclusive club.
Being exclusive is one thing, but how many important facilities let in only the Sovereign? Doesn't that seem a little strange?
Strange doesn't cover it. If it was only one room, maybe. But a place on this scale? How do they keep it from falling into ruin? Whoever the Sovereign is, they can't manage the upkeep of this whole place themselves.
Did no one ever talk about it when you were growing up?
No, not that I can remember. Then again, Sovereigns and Forbidden Zones weren't exactly breakfast table conversations.
The Forbidden Zone is a hallowed place, at one with the Sovereign's authority. Grounds of the one true ruler who presides over all Renans. That is what we believed this place to be. No, what we were made to believe it was. But now, it is finally time to discover this area's true purpose, and why it was kept hidden behind the scenes for so long.
Well, I guess it's time for me to get reading, isn't it? Select a topic to explore. The Sovereign, the Maiden. The Sovereign acts as Lenegis' central control device for the spirit channeling ceremony. Each one is granted level 2 authority and an ID crest. Dahna's subject serves as the base of its creation. In theory, ideal candidates possess equal affinity for every astral element. However, such aptitude is statistically rare to uncover within real-world conditions. As a result, most subjects die during the adjustment period, and stability is still not guaranteed for those who survive it. This instability, coupled with the Sovereign's powers of astral manipulation, pose a high risk to the security of Lenegis if left unchecked. As such, stabilization measures must be put in place via the support mechanism when utilizing the Sovereign in the spirit channeling ceremony. Addendum 1. No effective alternate methods to perform the ceremony have been found. Trials on Dahnan subjects are authorized to continue. Addendum number 2. Unit 2 adjustments are a success. Subsequent adjustments to be put on hold while extended observation takes place. The Maiden, then. The Maiden acts as the Sovereign's support mechanism for the spirit channeling ceremony. Each one is granted level 2 authority and an ID crest. A Renan subject serves its function, providing the Sovereign with a supplemental dark astral it lacks in tandem with Rena's Alma. During the ceremony, it is partly responsible for astral energy conversion, as well as maintaining stability over the Sovereign's own powers. Additionally, the degree of intimacy between it and the Sovereign has been observed to positively impact the level of stability in both subjects. Because of this, trial activations of the Sovereign without the Maiden present are expressly forbidden. Furthermore, neither the Sovereign nor the Maiden are to be informed about the details of the spirit channeling plan. Addendum 1. Mental instability in the Maiden has been deemed the cause of the past Sovereign's rampancy. Countermeasures must be considered. Addendum 2. In line with plan adjustments, the current subject will have its Maiden registration revoked and be returned to its original household. Seems I don't have any more dialogue after that. We're going to be here for a little bit reading, aren't we? The Master Cores. Master Cores are instruments of power containing astral energy that belongs to one of the 6 elements. 5 of these Master Cores, those with earth, water, fire, wind, and light, are loaned to Renan Lords at the time of the Crown Contest. Only the Dark Master Core is maintained inside the Forbidden Zone until the Rena's Alma is ready to be reformed. Its existence kept top secret. Underneath the Master Core's spherical outer layer, is a force field crystal used for the purpose of astral energy containment and stabilization. Inside the force field, astral energy is stored in a dormant state. For the duration of their tenure, each lord competes in the crown contest to amass their allotted type of astral energy. In the event of emergency, each lord may be allowed to withdraw from their respective stock of astral energy as necessary. However, the extent allowed is determined based on their own individual strength. Addendum 1, design flaws have been discovered in how the Rena armor materializes. Be advised that active masticles may resonate with other masticles located in close proximity and become unstable. Addendum 2, due to successful regeneration of the Rena armor, masticles will cease to be deployed and the crown contest will be permanently halted. Okay. Spirit cores. Spirit cores are end terminals used for the collection of astral energy. When embedded in a biological subject, it establishes connections throughout its body. These connections are used to amass astral energy generated from physical activity, which is then emitted from the host body itself. Because this emitted energy is prone to diffuse, the host must be placed within range of a spirit vessel for the energy to be collected. This means that Dahnas must be employed to harvest the astral energy for the purpose of the crown contest. Given the difficulty in producing them, it is advised that spirit cores be retrieved from host bodies and reused upon their death. Spirit cores can also be embedded in Zeugles to control them via astral arts. Addendum. Increased physical load on a host body tends to produce increased astral energy emissions. Final confirmation of ideal workload to impose on host bodies without inducing death for maximum astral energy yields is still pending. Not worth researching that bit, yeah? Lords. Each crown contest, 5 of the best qualified members of the Renan populace are chosen to act as lords, vying to serve as the next sovereign. During their tenure, they are granted level 3 authority, as well as one of 5 elemental realms to administer, and its corresponding master core. They are also assigned an ID crest indicating their designated element. The selection process is based only on astral artistry and physical and mental aptitude. Other variables such as age have no bearing whatsoever. Because only the strongest go on to become lords, the position itself does not inherently make an individual any stronger. Okay. It should be noted, however, that lords are not the only individuals capable of drawing out a Masticle's power. All Renans must take part in the selection process, and acceptance of the position is mandatory. It is not allowed for those deemed suitable to decline. Furthermore, in the event that an acting lord is incapacitated and can no longer serve in their position, a replacement must be quickly prepared. Unique Adjustment Index Test Subject Report. The following is a report on the second successful case of sovereign test subject experimentation. Test subject 10105, given name Volarum. Although subject possesses high latent potential, exhibits significant mental instability along with a strong distaste for following orders. As such, the risk it poses surpass even those of the last successful subject, itself a failure, and is therefore under consideration for disposal. Addendum. This is the first successful case in 300 years. Previously mentioned risk factors are now mitigated due to established control protocols. Subjects is to be evaluated under the assumption that Plan 2 will proceed and will be dispatched to Dahna under the guise of serving as a lord. Volran just popped up. He's a new baby! Lenegis. A large-scale astral energy converter that primarily converts the elemental composition of Dahna's astral energy and transmits it to Rena. Activation and control of astral energy conversion is achieved by placing the Sovereign, Maiden, and Rena's Alma within the central core of Lenegis. We'll just drop the A. It is comprised of classified and essential personnel resident zones around a large conduit, along with a defensive layer surrounding them. This outer layer is deployed upon activation, unlocking the central conduit, while simultaneously functioning as a stabilization mechanism. Due to its design, deployment of the outer layer is expected to cause damage to residential zones. However, because that only takes place during the final stage of the spirit channeling ceremony, no contingency plan to address said damage is needed. Until that phase, Lenegis serves as the central base of operations for the management and execution of the crown contest on Dahna. Warning, any personnel with level 3 authority or lower is strictly forbidden from the classified zone. Any violators will be immediately executed. Detachable Harvester, the Wedge. A massive spirit vessel placed on Dahna for the spirit channeling ceremony. It serves as the tip of Lenegis' conduit from which it separates. Upon landing in Dahnan waters, it extends 2 sets of conducting pathways. The vertical pathways connect to the center of Dahna. Meanwhile, the horizontal pathways proceed to envelop the entire surface of Dahna. Once activated, it links to the biological spirit vessels placed in each realm, efficiently harvesting the planet's astral energy en masse. So the lights, yeah? The accumulated energy is then transmitted to Rena via Lenegis. Because construction and adjustment take place in the Forbidden Zone's regulator area, Lenegis' outer layer must be deployed prior to launch. Intended to function semi-autonomously, only maintenance personnel are expected to manually interface with it when necessary. No other personnel is required for it to function. Addendum 1. Detachable Harvester 1 was lost on Dahna after exploding due to the rampancy exhibited by the Sovereign. Addendum number 2. Detachable Harvester 2's landing point will remain the same as that of the previous model. This is due to the explosion of the previous model, which altered the planetary topography, enabling easier connection to the center of Dahna. So Alphen destroyed the original one. Well, on Lenegis as well. I don't know. Select a topic to explore. Sedative Mask. A device covering the wearer's whole face that restricts their mental activity. It was developed for the purpose of pacifying prisoners. Medical applications are also recognized, particularly as a means of preventing patients from sustaining mental trauma. However, doing so is not recommended as prolonged use of the device carries the risk of inducing a number of adverse side effects. Addendum, due to the loss of production facilities incurred from the partial destruction of Lenegis, additional devices will no longer be manufactured. Brainwashing Report. After receiving reports of a robust new form of rule emerging in Dahna's water realm, a study was commissioned to investigate the matter in depth. This system is unique in that it elevates only the Lord as the supreme authority while relegating both Renans and Dahnans alike to enslavement. Test Subject 10105 serves as the realm's current Lord and has achieved this without the use of any special powers, drugs, or special devices. Rather, it has done so by sheer governance. Given this method's effectiveness of population control, monitoring the situation will continue. Addendum 1. Collapse of cognitive facilities via extreme mental repression rooted in violence and fear has proven to be key to this style of rule. Once the subject loses its autonomy, they become desensitized to fear and subsequently cease to prioritize even their own personal safety. Though such a state is ill-suited for commanding officers, it remains an effective way to cultivate disposable infantry and slaves for manual labor. Addendum number 2. Soldiers in Lenegis who have undergone this treatment will be asked to secure classified sectors as a trial. The results will be monitored. He did this just through fear. He made them all like that just through oppression and fear. Big yikes. Wants me to move onwards now. Three life balls, that's not bad. That brings me up to 12, I think, if I'm right. A room unchanged over 3 centuries. It's like time itself has stopped here. Any treasure chests with new fancy armors/weapons? And notice, this area will now be shut down as the project proceeds to the final phase. You see lots of numbers. Looks like logs of alignment between subjects and Lenegis proper. It's equipment for monitoring subjects. It probably had a failure disposal mechanism as well. Grape gel. I was like, is this going to be meat or something? You know what, I'll just take it. I don't know when I'll be back in here after all. There's not much reason to come back here, surely. No enemies to fight, he says. Ah, the visions!
Naori, I...
Don't talk. I have to do this. I gave you my word that I'd help you return to Dahna. The next time you open your eyes, you'll be home.
But you...
My place is here with my people. I still have a duty to fulfill. I'm sorry for what you've endured. Rena never should have dragged you into this. It's not your burden to bear.
But...
The mask contains a sedative. It should keep your mind from tearing itself apart any further. Let yourself go to sleep. This should help with the pain. Time to go, Alphen. Farewell.
Naori.
Some good
His
sedative.
injuries are worse than I thought. Short-term treatment isn't going to cut it. I'll have to switch the healing pod to long-term hibernation mode. The chance of surviving hibernation's less than 10%? And worse, long-term use of the mask carries a high risk of damaging his mind and nervous system. But... if I don't head back, Lenegis will be nothing but ashes, and this starship along with it. I don't know if I can fulfill my promise to you, Alphen. But if doing this will grant you even the slightest chance, I have to try. I hope it's enough. Please, live for me, Alphen. That vision. It must have been from when Naori helped Alphen escape Lenegis.
She sure went above and beyond the call of duty.
Even with Lenegis crumbling down around her, she chose to stay put with her people.
So that's why you lost your memories and sense of pain, and why you were asleep for that whole time. It was all the result of one agonizing decision Naori made to save your life.
Yeah. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't even be alive today. I owe her everything. More than I could ever hope to repay.
Now that you know how she felt, how do you plan on honoring her wishes?
She kept her promise. If the Renan people she fought so desperately to protect are at risk from a malevolent force, then I owe it to her to carry on her fight. Naori was the one who put that mask on me, and made me Iron Mask.
She did it to prevent your soul from tearing itself apart. She knew you might lose your memories and sense of pain as a result. But more than anything, she wanted you to survive. And you did.
Well, 10% was good odds considering the stuff you went through to become sovereign, right?